Mm.
Hi, Margo.
Hi, Johnny.
So I heard that you saw our videos
Mhm.
and you had some questions. I was just wondering how can we
Mhm.
help you?
Yeah, I've been to the cemetery. My parents' headstone's pretty dirty. It has a lot of white on it, and I'm not
Mhm.
quite sure what that is or why that is. But um, I tried cleaning it with soap and water,
Mhm.
and it didn't really help at all. So I ended up looking on YouTube to see how to clean headstones and came
Mhm.
across your video. So just kind of wondering um, why your products work compared to just soap and water.
Yeah. So actually, soap and water,
Mm.
it doesn't do very good on what we call hard water.
Mm.
That's that white film that's on your headstone. So what happens is during the day, the sun heats up your parents' headstone, and the cemetery actually waters during the day. And so what is happening is once the water is on the headstone, because of how hot it is, it actually evaporates the water and leaves all the minerals that are in the water. So that's what that film is.
So is that why two plots down or areas down is the headstones are yellow?
Yep, so it's the same kind of thing. Every cemetery has a different thing that happens just because the
Mm.
different minerals from the water that they're pulling out of.
Um,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So, and you made a comment that soap and water didn't work. Well, soap and
Mm.
water doesn't work because the soap actually isn't made to penetrate something like hard water. Hard water
Mm.
actually takes something stronger. You need
Mm.
something that's more of an acid base. And we actually have a kit that has a cleaner that is an acid base that would get that off.
Okay, how safe is that with acid?
It's actually pretty safe. The cleaner that we sell is a diluted
Mm.
version of a safe acid, so it doesn't harm anything. I mean, it may kill the grass barely
Mm.
around it, but as long as you rinse off your stone after you use it, it's not going to cause any damage around or on your headstone.
Okay, and then in your video, it showed you using some sort of brick.
Yeah, so that's what we call our clean stone. It's in the
Mm.
kit as well. So what we like to do, and I'm sure you saw in the video, is we like to use the acid first. We let the acid do all the work. So you take that and you spray it all over the stone. You scrub it around with an acid brush. You rinse it off, and then you let it dry. And then that's when that clean stone comes into play. It is actually best used for when you just want to touch up areas that the acid didn't get.
Okay, so an acid brush, does that come in the kit?
It does not, just because we're trying to save you on costs instead of us going and purchasing the brush. We just suggest going to any hardware store you can pick up a brush. That way it doesn't cost you more.
Does it have to be a specific brush, like an acid brush, or is there a brand?
Yeah, so if you go to any hardware store, you can just say, I need an acid brush, and they can take you
Mm.
to it. You don't want to use any kind of wire brushes. You actually just want to use a softer bristled brush.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Um,
Mhm.
are there any other supplies that I need besides, I guess, water? I have to bring my own
Mhm.
water.
Yep. So the kit, it actually comes with one blue brick and then 1 quart of of the acid base cleaner we call brick and tile cleaner. So those are what come in the kit. The only extras would be a
Mm.
brush, an acid brush to scrub around with, water, like you said. We usually take out a 5-gallon bucket and then just fill
Mm.
it with water and then we rinse it off. And then we also suggest gloves, like a
Okay.
latex glove or your dish cleaning gloves.
Oh, really?
Those
Mm.
work as well. And then we also suggest some kind of respirator just because sometimes the acid can be strong when it gets in
Mm.
contact with the hard water, that you would want something to protect you. So sometimes you can pass out if it's too strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, is there a time of day that's best to do it? You said the stones get hot, so.
Yep. So early mornings, and we
Mm.
actually recommend you clean it right out of winter when it starts to get warm,
Mm.
because most people want their headstones clean for Memorial Day. And so that's when we usually recommend to do it. But you can clean it anytime. Just
Mm.
know that it'll get dirty again quicker if you do it while they're still watering.
Oh, okay. So fall wouldn't be a good time?
Fall is actually a great time. You just
Mhm.
sometimes winter comes earlier or later, so you try and plan it out when they
Mm.
turn off the water, and sometimes a cold front will come in and then they turn off their water then, and you just didn't have any time to clean your headstone. So we just recommend during the springtime when they haven't turned the water on
Alright. So, I mean, obviously you've done this a lot,
yet. Mhm.
so you're pretty proficient in it. How easy is it gonna be for me who's never done it?
Yeah, so it's
And it
actually
seems to be pretty hard to get that stuff off.
yeah, it may seem hard,
Mhm.
but it actually should take you only 10 to 20 minutes to do it. Really, you go in
Mhm.
there, you spray the brick and tile cleaner on there, you scrub around until it stops foaming, then you rinse it off, and then you just let it dry. And then once it's dry, you can see little areas that the acid didn't get, and you just take that blue brick, rub it
Mhm.
over it a couple times, and it'll take it right off.
Okay, how many headstones can it do?
About 1 to 2 cleanings.
Mm.
So it depends on the size and the shape, but usually upright for 2 people, the clean kit will clean it twice,
Oh,
depending
okay.
on how dirty it is, but usually 1 or 2 times.
Okay. So, a question outside of that, I have dark granite countertops in my
Mhm,
kitchen, and I'm starting to see hard water deposits on that. Can I use
mhm.
this stuff on kitchen countertops?
You can actually, it's actually made for inside the house.
Hmm.
Um, but you also don't want to use any of those cleaners on your headstone because it's not the same. So cleaners in your house usually have an acid base
Hmm.
to make your granite look really shiny and pretty after you've cleaned it, after it's cleaned it.
Hmm.
But where you're out in the sun and stuff with a headstone, the oil actually penetrates into your headstone and it'll actually discolor it. So you can use that acid cleaner inside your home,
Hmm.
but you can't use any of those cleaners on the outside of your house. Outside, like on a headstone or anything like that.
Okay, but could I use that one for my headstones also on my granite countertops?
What do you
So if I'm finding hard water on my
mean?
kitchen countertops, can I use that same product? Your
You
acid and
yeah,
your stone.
you can. We
Mhm.
recommend you just use normal household cleaners just
Mm.
because it is an oil base and it won't stink up your house with the acidy smell.
Oh, okay. Makes
Yep.
sense.
So is that
Alright.
something you're interested in? We could get you today so you could go out and clean your parents' headstone?
Well, do you have guarantees on your product if it does cause problems or I'm not able to see results with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you actually purchase our product,
Mhm.
we guarantee that it's going to clean your headstone. I've cleaned headstones, over 100 headstones with this same exact product. So you can go out and do it, and I can guarantee that it will clean it. And if you do
Mm.
have any issues, you're welcome to come and tell us about it. And if you did have any issues, we'd be more than willing to go out there and show you how to do it.
Awesome.